Hey, all you Sonic Maniacs, the Sonic Maniac here, and today we're going to be talking about toys. No, not that one, though I unironically love that movie and I miss Robin Williams. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the Jakks Pacific 2.5-inch Sonic toys. Positive to start, the biggest pro I can think of for these is that they're Sonic toys. Why? Growing up in the 90s was a time where most popular children's franchises had both a cartoon and a toy line. In most cases, the cartoon was made as a 30-minute commercial to sell the toy line. Looking at you, Ninja Turtles. However, when it came to video games, it seemed that even the most popular would get, at most, a cartoon. Maybe some plastic figurines or plushies, or, at best, a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. But there weren't any action figures. Okay, Mega Man got a cartoon and action figures, but Mario and Sonic, arguably the two most popular video game mascot franchises of the 90s, nothing. It was shocking, it was sad, and it left little kid me more than a little upset that I couldn't play with action figures of my favorite characters. I wanted Sonic figures so bad, I'd pretend other action figures were Sonic and his friends just so I could make up games and stories to play with my toys. So when it comes to these new Jakks Pacific figures, the thing I love most about them is that they're being given the 90s treatment. They check all of the boxes for the figure lines from those days. We've got all kinds of characters no matter how much screen time they've had. We've got vehicles, playsets, and accessories. At only 2.5 inches, these figures are small, but they have a perfect amount of articulation for figures of this scale. The arms and legs have a joint that allows them to twist and swing, as I like to call it, and the head can turn. One downside of this is that the hands and feet are glued in place, and sometimes when you buy a figure, the hand or foot might be glued on in the wrong spot, and so the limb has to be moved in an awkward way in order for the figure to stand or be posed. One major negative for this line was that the early waves had many characters in posed positions. Now, I'm 38 years old. I don't play with my toys nearly as much as I used to, but I still always want that option. It's why I collect action figures and not statues or figurines. So when these early figures came out in preset poses, it really had me thinking these were more like statues with moving parts and not action figures. However, more recent waves have been making up for this by making basically every character in a neutral pose so that it's up to the player how they want to display or play with their figures. In most cases, the hands have even been molded so figures can hold the aforementioned accessories. On the plus side of this, many figures and playsets come with the famous gold rings, and you can put a ring in Sonic's hand. That makes it sound like I'm proposing to Sonic. I would. No, but seriously, it's added play value when action figures have accessories, and it's great to see that in this line of figures. One downside to this, however, is the accessories are often repeated and aren't always character specific, or when they are, they're released with the larger scale figures and so aren't to scale with the smaller sized figures. For instance, I have the two different versions of Amy Rose, classic and modern, and neither of the 2.5-inch scale came with her hammer, so I had to borrow them from other similar scaled figures when displaying this line of figures on my shelf. It would be a smart move for Jakks to add more character-specific accessories to the 2.5-inch line in future releases. All in all, these Jakks Pacific 2.5-inch figures are my favorite Sonic figures to ever exist, and any negatives I've brought up are easily outweighed by the positives of this toy line, and I look forward with much enthusiasm to the future figure releases. In the next week or so, I will be covering the playsets and vehicles, so stay tuned.